Have you ever been afraid that if someone really got to know you, they wouldn't like you anymore? Especially if you really liked them and you'd already worked so hard to make them like you too. If you felt this way, then you'll understand Jason Blake's story in Nora Raleigh Baskin's Anything But Typical. Jason is a 12-year-old kid. When he was really little, he could spell anything, and I mean anything. His mom thought he was a genius. But when he got to school, his teachers noticed some things that started to make them worried. They told his parents that he should probably get tested, which his parents completely did not want to do at the beginning because they wanted to think that their son was like everyone else. But they did end up getting him tested, and that's when he found out that he was autistic. He knew right then and there he'd be labeled for life. As you can imagine, school wasn't the easiest for Jason. Let's face it, people aren't always the nicest to the labeled kids. He did end up getting to stay in public school instead of going to a special school, though. But people had a hard time coping with his autism. He had a hard time communicating with other people because he tended to pay attention to the details of their face instead of what they were saying. So to try to communicate with people where he felt safe, he would write stories on Storyboard, an online blogging site. That's where he met Rebecca. Rebecca would comment on his stories, telling him how great they were, and she would have Jason comment on her stories too. They talked back and forth so much that he started to feel like she was his girlfriend, which is a big deal, because all the girls in his non-online life didn't want to have anything to do with him once they found out he was autistic. So he was very happy that he finally had a girl interested in him. One day, Jason got the best news of his life. His parents were going to take him to the Storyboard convention in Texas. But then he got the worst news of his life. Rebecca was going to be there too. Jason was terrified that once she saw that he was autistic, she wouldn't want to be his friend anymore. He swore that if that happened, he would give up writing because, after all, Rebecca's the only one that was interested in his writing anyway. What will happen at the convention? Will Rebecca still like him even though he's autistic? Will he keep writing? I guess you'll just have to read the book to find out. I admit going into this book, I didn't know that much about autism. And even though reading one book is probably not enough to completely understand someone with autism, I do feel like I can appreciate what they have to go through more after reading this book. They have a different way of looking at the world, and this book helps you really appreciate that. So if you're a middle schooler, I think you'd really enjoy this book. It's a fast and easy read, and it's divided up into small chapters, so you feel like you're really getting somewhere as you're reading it. But most importantly, Jason is just a fun and interesting character to listen to. So if you need something to read for school, or you just want something to read this summer, I would suggest Nora Raleigh Baskin's Anything But Typical.